Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we're going to jump into part 2 of our two-part series in terms of offensive and now defensive starting position battles coming up in today's video. First, though, for a shout-out in tomorrow's video, which phone do you have? Random, but it's the off-season. We got to make some stuff up here. Do you have an iPhone or an Android? Type I down below for iPhone or A down below for Android. You will get a shout-out in tomorrow's video if you are selected. Yesterday's shout-out for today's video is coming later on in this video. Let's go ahead and jump into the latest Philadelphia Eagles news and rumors, specifically focusing in on the defensive starting position battles. If you're just joining us, you missed yesterday's video. We're talking about the offensive starting position battles, and while we will do plenty of other videos about this backup spot or that practice squad player, we're looking at the actual starting positions that may or may not have some serious battles in terms of who's actually playing week one, the first snap of the season, and who's actually on the bench, and then, of course, being swapped back and forth. So, yesterday, of course, as I mentioned, we had the offensive starter position battles. Here's what we did yesterday. Running back, now it will be Miles Sanders as the starter, but there is some serious competition there if he were to slip up at any point during training camp. Wide receiver has massive, massive starting battles, because I do consider the third wide receiver to be a starter, and so who's going to be in wide receiver number 3? And finally, the guard spot, the most intriguing battle on the entire offense, is who are the left and right guards. Is it Dickerson and Jurgens, Dickerson and Sayamalu and Jurgens? Who are going to be those two starters? We did a whole breakdown in that video that happened just yesterday. Okay, how excited are you guys for training camp? We are so close to training camp. Really just got to get through the month of July, and then we are officially into what I would consider football season, because training camp is officially football season. Drop a like down below if you guys are excited for Eagles training camp. Let's get to over 600 likes here on today's video. I think we can. Give this video a thumbs up and help out the channel. Let's go and jump into our defensive starting position battle, starting with pass rusher. Now, this is very similar to, as I would say, the running back discussion from yesterday, right? We know who the starting running back presumably is going to be. That's going to be Miles Sanders, as I just said. But, as I said in yesterday's video, there's some serious competition behind Miles Sanders that could lead to a change in the starting lineup. The same goes for the pass rusher position, most notably Brandon Graham. Now, right now, you go to ESPN.com, you go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com, look at their depth chart. Brandon Graham is one of your two starting pass rushers. Josh Sweat is the other one. Graham, however, has a very interesting, I would say, not super uphill battle, but uphill battle to maintain that spot. Now, granted, the entire Eagle defensive line will be, defensive line by committee. They will rotate in there, but who will be the actual starters? You assume it's Graham, but Graham's coming off of a significant lower body injury. He's over the age of 30, and there are some young bucks behind him who could really be pressing for some serious starting time. Look at this Eagles defensive line depth chart. It's absolutely stacked. Now, we know who the two starting defensive tackles are going to be. Fletcher Cox, is not going to play as much, but he will be a starter this year, and Jordan Davis will substitute in there, but should be Graham and Sweat on the outside. But then, you got to factor in that Derek Barnett comes back, even though we're all low on him. Maybe he pops this year. Teron Jackson, people are very excited about. And then, obviously, the guy who's not even really technically a defensive end, but he is an outside linebacker pass rusher who will line up at defensive end this year, is Haason Reddick. Reddick, very much so, is going to be better than Brandon Graham this year. I mean, unless Brandon Graham goes back to 2017 Brandon Graham, or really 2020 Brandon Graham, Reddick is going to be the better pass rusher. Just, a fact of life. He's younger, he's been better more recently, and has had less injuries. Now, again, all these guys are going to be on the football field at the same time, or at least are going to be rotated in there, and so the fact that one starter versus another starter is not that big of a deal, but whoever is going to be the opposite of Josh Sweat, to me, is still a very interesting battle to keep an eye on. I will mention Barnett one more time. I know I just said that technically he is still there. People are going to give me a lot of hate for saying that Barnett could have a good season. He hasn't really had one. You think back to his rookie season, was his best year in the National Football League, recovered the Tom Brady, Brandon Graham strip sack fumble in the Super Bowl, and I thought his career was going to take off. Penalties have been a massive issue for him. Not getting to the quarterback has been an issue, but they bring him back for one final year. Another contract year for him. Maybe he steps up. He won't be a starter, but he's still going to play a significant amount of time. So again, to put a bow on the pass rusher side of things, we know who we think the starters are going to be, but there is significant guys behind who can really push the guys like Brandon Graham to possibly take their job week one. Okay, ad break, pin comment down below. Who is the best player right now in this defense? It's a good question. I'd say Darius Slay is your best best player on this defense, but you can make the case it's a pass rusher. Maybe it's somebody else. Let me know who you guys think is the best pass rusher down below in the pin comment right now. All right, let's talk about a real defensive battle, and obviously saving this for later on in the video. Linebacker. Linebacker is the best battle to watch on this entire football team. And yesterday I said, the offensive line, the guard spot is a great battle. It is. We're going to talk about the overall team, what battle is going to be the most intriguing this offseason. It's linebacker, because there is no surefire starter. Like, there is no, this is going to be your middle linebacker, this is going to be your outside linebacker. We have an idea. Right now, you would think it's Davion Taylor and TJ Edwards, or TJ Edwards and Kyzir White, but you have so many linebackers mixed in there that it's going to be a cluster of, I would say, fun to see who's going to go ahead and win this job. Now, I do assume that TJ Edwards will be your starting middle linebacker week 1. I think Nakobe Dean will take a little bit of time to get up to speed, and so he might not be ready to go week 1. And I do assume that Kyzir White is probably going to be the starter on the other side. But do not count out Davion Taylor. Davion Taylor, to me, was one of the more, I would say, rising young players on this football team halfway through the season last year when he finally got to start at outside linebacker until he had the injury which kept him out for the remainder of the season. I think he's coming back with a vengeance. I think year 3 is his year to shine, and Kyzir White better watch out. They're going to try to get these guys both on the football field at times, but look out for Davion Taylor to possibly have a massive, massive, massive year in 2022. I mentioned Dean earlier. I love Nakobe Dean. I think he's the steal of the draft. I'm very excited to see what he can do, but the odds of him beating out TJ Edwards for a week 1 starting job to me are still very slim. Now, that can change, right? You can get to training camp, you can get to obviously preseason games, and if this kid is balling out so much that you can't help but play him, then he should play, right? This is whole entire videos about the best players should win. However, I do think it will be TJ Edwards right now, and then maybe halfway through the season if Edwards is struggling, which he may or may not, he's been good the past year, then you insert Nakobe Dean into his spot. Okay, before we go ahead and get into safety, which is the final position we're going to talk about here on our defensive starting position battles, be sure to subscribe to the channel off season long, as we have reached over 30,317 subscribers, and I think you guys appreciate the content that we do here during the off season, because listen, it is the off season, right? It's not like we're talking about actual games or actual training camp or free agency, like the free agents time or the draft. This is the dog days of summer, and we still try to give you guys fun, interactive content to keep your Eagles bug fixed as you get ready for training camp. If you appreciate that, go down below and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow the channel as we try to give you guys, again, the most fun you can have watching your Eagles or getting news on your Eagles during the off season. Speaking of which, the 2-pack t-shirt combo is available right now. Look at this. 40% off. This is good stuff. Chatsports.com/Eagles t-shirt. You don't get one, you get 2 of the t-shirts you see on your screen right now. Any size that you want for 40% off. The link is on your screen and also down below in the description box. The black one to me is really sick. I mean, they both look good, but the black one looks absolutely fantastic. Pick these up now. They're going to go quick because they're on sale. Chatsports.com/Eagles shirt is the link that you need. Okay, final position battle. This one's obvious. It's safety. I mean, this is a massive battle overall in terms of our safety depth chart. We assume it would be Tartt and Anthony Harris as your 2 starters. That's an assumption. You know what assuming does? It makes an ass out of you and me, right? So there is a chance that Epps can beat out Tartt, and there's a chance that Anthony Harris might not win a starting job during training camp. We assume it's going to be the veterans. I think that was the reason they went and signed Jaquiski Tartt, but I'm not just going to sit back and say here that Marcus Epps is terrible. I think he's shown some potential. I think that he's there for a reason, but I think Tartt was brought in because they aren't super thrilled about Marcus Epps. The real guy who to me has been a massive bummer is Kayvon Wallace. Trust me, they would not have signed Jaquiski Tartt if Kayvon Wallace was coming along on schedule. And while he was not a first-round draft pick, not a second-round draft pick, he still was early enough in the draft a couple of years ago to really eventually kind of be the starter at safety. That was the plan. He just hasn't been able to, I think, look that part yet. Again, it's still early. He has put on about 10 pounds of muscle based on some pictures I have seen, and so I'm expecting him to maybe make a run at the safety spot, but the odds of him being a starter week 1 still feel pretty darn slim. Okay, NBA draft happens tomorrow. We'll cover it here on our main Chat Sports channel. Subscribe there, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV, or just search Chat Sports above me in the little YouTube search bar. The guys over in the Dallas headquarters are going to have you guys covered for all 2 rounds, every single pick during the NBA draft. Link will be down below in the description box to go to that channel, subscribe, and be ready for the draft tomorrow night. Okay, let's just go ahead and go back through these very, very quickly. The 3 big starting position battles: pass rusher, linebacker, and of course, safety, as we just mentioned. There are going to be other battles out there, but I mean, let's just be real. These are the 3 big ones that we want to focus on as the defensive battles to watch during training camp. Overall, though, as I said this about the offense. The offensive stacked, so is the defense. This will be a top 10 defense in 2022. I mean, there's no way it's not. If it's not, then Jonathan Gannon is the worst defensive coordinator of all time, or they've had, 10 injuries on the starting 11 in terms of defense. It's going to be great. They're going to be fantastic, and I'm very, very excited to see what this defense is going to be able to do. It's the best defense we've seen in Philadelphia in a very, very long time, and that's not an understatement. I'm not overreacting there. It's true, and I think it's going to be a very good year for the Eagles defense. All right, we'll end with a shout-out. Brandon Ford got a shout-out for typing hashtag EaglesTMod, Fly Eagles Flag, and we do this every single day here on the channel to help you guys get a shout-out for watching the video. We appreciate you guys. So go down below and, of course, answer the question, Android or iPhone, we mentioned earlier, for a shout-out like Brandon got on today's video. Okay, all time for today on our Philadelphia Eagles newsroom video. Plenty more content coming up later on this week, as we always do. For producer Trace, I am Thomas Mott. Stay safe out there, subscribe, and give me a thumbs up as well to help us get to 600 likes. Again, for the channel, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.